Today we're going to make the most delicious ginger molasses cookie you have ever had. Welcome back. My name is Corinne Phillips and this is Fresh Pea Cooks. Now this isn't a traditional European style crunchy gingerbread. This is a soft, rich, gooey, brown sugary, gingery cookie delight. I believe the original one came from a coffee shop somewhere in Colorado when I was a sales rep like 20 some years ago. But I've adapted it over the years and made it my own. What I did keep true to the original recipe is the inclusion of a half a cup of shortening. This is the only recipe I make that uses shortening, and I buy it only for this recipe. Now this is a vegetarian, organic, spectrum shortening. But it's made of palm oil, and for those of you that are concerned about the environment and about sustainable oils, palm oil is a huge concern. So I try to buy the best quality palm oil I can buy, and I've tried substituting butter, but there's just something about the texture and how fluffy and the taste and the shape of this cookie that just doesn't hold up when you use all butter. You can do it, it's still delicious, but the original is spot on. So I'm not gonna mess with perfection. So for this recipe you're going to need palm oil, butter, eggs, both white and dark brown sugar, molasses, spices. Now in this one we have tons of ginger, clove, cinnamon, salt, baking soda, and flour. Because this recipe calls for 4 cups of flour, I went ahead and substituted 1 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I like to just put a little more nutrition in where I can. Now there is an optional ingredient. If you really love ginger like I do, and you like that hot, spicy, delicious, like nothing is too gingery for you, if you're the kind of person that eats ginger juice, you're my people, you can add crystallized ginger, which is just basically ginger cooked in sugar syrup. And I do like to add a little bit, maybe that much, because you know you can just not have too much ginger. This is totally optional. They're delicious with or without the crystallized ginger. I know this is can be kind of challenging for some of you to find, but nearly all health food, grocery, natural food stores will have crystallized ginger, and you can get it on Amazon as well. I've got it in my Amazon store. So we're going to take our dry ingredients, sift them all together. We're going to put our 2 fats, our butter and our shortening, into the bowl of our standing mixer. And we want to make sure that our fat is room temperature because we want it to whip up really fluffy, and that's going to give the cookies a little more loft. Once the shortening and butter are nice and whipped and super fluffy, we're going to add in the molasses. Then we're going to add in our eggs. And when you add eggs to fat, you want to add them slowly, one at a time. Because if I put both eggs in there, the egg is going to actually coat the fat, and it's going to be really, really hard to get it incorporated and whipped up. It's just going to be slippery and slimy and keep spinning around in the bowl. So when you read a recipe that says add the eggs one at a time, they mean it. At that time we'll toss in our candied ginger. Once our wet mixture is looking nice and fluffy, we'll go ahead and add in the dry ingredients, our spices and the flour. Now, when I make cookies and add the ingredients together, I add them very slowly. So I don't want to build that gluten in the flour. I don't want to whip it and so they get tough. I want them to be tender and delicious. So I'm just going to mix it until all of the flour is incorporated and no more. Now there are a few things that I like to do when I'm making cookies. I like to make sure all my cookies are perfectly round, and the only way I have found to do it is to use a scoop. So this is a size blue. I don't know what their sizes are. The commercial scoops, size 16. So this one I think is perfect for these molasses cookies. Sometimes if I'm feeling really generous, I'll go for a really big scoop, like I've been known to use size gray. This one is a 8. And it's really fun because you have these gorgeous crinkly top cracked cookies with this shiny sparkly brown iridescent sugar. Most people freak out a little bit with a cookie the size of their head, so don't want to freak your friends out. Get a smaller scoop, size 16 blue. It works really great. So I'll scoop out the cookie batter and I'm going to roll them in a bowl of brown sugar. And I like dark brown sugar for this, but light brown sugar looks really beautiful too. For those of you that are going to be making these at home, the whole recipe is below. So as always in my videos, I don't usually give measurements in the video, but it's all there for you to find on your own. And these guys spread quite a bit. So you want to make sure that you don't overcrowd your tray, and you do maybe 4 cookies, 6 at the most, depending on the size cookie ball. Another reason that these make my holiday baking list every single year is they freeze beautifully. And that is a key. When I'm making cookies and making cookie trays, I make them all, freeze the dough, and on the day that I'm going to be delivering or taking cookies somewhere, I bake them fresh. And in order to do that, you have to have cookie dough that freezes well, and this freezes beautifully. You can lay it out on a piece of wax paper and shape it into a long log, roll it, and then use them as slice cookies, and they slice beautifully. Just take each slice and dip it in brown sugar before you bake it. You can also scoop out cookie balls and just freeze the cookie balls in the freezer. And again, when you take them out, let them thaw for about 20 minutes just to soften up a little bit so that the brown sugar sticks. Roll them in brown sugar and then bake them off fresh.